Hello. Once again, this is Back to the Basics. This is a Back to the Basics brief. This one is titled Think for Yourself and Question Authority. So, probably by now, everybody has heard the announcement that Joe Biden has chosen Senator Kamala Harris for VP to complete the Democratic ticket. I'm going to go now to some audio that was done shortly after he announced her as the VP choice. This source is from NBC News, taken from August 12th, 2020.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. As I said, Joe, when you called me, I am incredibly honored by this responsibility, and I'm ready to get to work. I am ready to get to work. After the most competitive primary in history, the country received a resounding message that Joe was the person to lead us forward. And Joe, I'm so...
Now, she just said a competitive primary, and she didn't even make it to the South Carolina debate.
Proud to stand with you. And I do so mindful of all the heroic and ambitious women before me, whose sacrifice, determination, and resilience makes my presence here today even possible. This is a moment of real consequence for America. Everything we care about, our economy, our health, our children, the kind of country we live in, it's all on the line. We're reeling from the worst public health crisis in a century. The president's mismanagement of the pandemic has plunged us into the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. And we're experiencing a moral reckoning with racism and systemic injustice that has brought a new coalition of conscience to the streets of our country, demanding change. America is...
A new coalition of conscience. Oh my. Ooh. You definitely sounded like a politician on that one. Definitely. Let me go ahead and pump up this rhetoric real quick. What I'm interested is to wonder to whom you talking about coalition of consciousness, Senator Harris. It seems that you're very conscious with the with certain groups, should I say? This isn't to throw any shade at the Native American community or the Asian community, but when it comes to that to other people, are you really going to be conscious? Your track record doesn't look too well with certain groups of people, or should I say ethnicities, particularly Black people.
Crying out for leadership. Yet we have a president who cares more about himself than the people who elected him. A president who is making every challenge we face even more difficult to solve. But here's the good news. We don't have to accept the failed government of Donald Trump and Mike Pence. In just 83 days, we have a chance to choose a better future for our country. So, Joe, Dr. Biden, thank you for the trust you've placed in me. Jill, I know you will be an incredible First Lady.
Really? Really, Senator Harris? We have a chance to make a better choice? Yeah, I'm going to go on a rant. It's time for Back to the Basics to go on a rant. So I'm going to try not to make it too long. So I have been voting since 2004 when I became eligible at the age of 18. At first, I was a blue dog Democrat. I was. And then I changed over and I went to the right, went to the Republican side. And now, for the past, it hasn't been a short minute, it's been a long minute, I've been a registered independent. And from my short time of voting, and I vote at the local, state, and government levels. I do not just show up every 4 years and vote. I voted for the mayor, the governor, judges, amongst other things, back in my state of residency. Well, I'll say the state that I'm from, that I was born in, because right now I reside in Kentucky, back in Ohio, where I'm from. And you know what I've noticed in the short time that I voted? It didn't really matter if I voted Democratic or Republican, is that neither party is for the people, really. It really isn't. I mean, for those who may be Trump mega hats or real going hard for the Biden Harris ticket right now, neither party is for the people. I'm not talking about just Black people. I'm talking about the people. They don't care. They really don't care. And I'm only 34 years old and I figured it out. You know, as my mother once told me, an individual can learn a lot by just watching, observing, not just what a person says, but what they do. I took criminal justice back in the early 2000s. I graduated with a bachelor's in 2008 from Kent State University. And you know what's interesting? Whenever I was going through studying criminal justice, one of the things that kept popping up was if an individual wants to predict future behavior, you look at their past criminal history. Now, I'm not trying to call anyone a criminal, but if you want to know what a person may do in the future, just examine their past behaviors, their past actions. And that's what I'm going to say for this. I've been voting at all different levels, local, state, and federal since 2004. And I can truly say that neither party, doesn't matter if it's Democratic Party or Republican, neither party cares. All they care about is corporate America. You know, I was alive in 2008 and I watched 2008. I watched way before that stock market crashed in September 29th of 2008. Look what happened to the price of oil July of 2008. The price of barrel went all the way up to $147 a barrel. And then look who got the bailout. AIG, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and all of these big corporate companies. And then we had something similar happen again, the CARES Act. That happened just April of this year, 2020. So again, neither party is for us, for the people. Two sides of the same coin. There's an illusion of choice. All you have to do is study past presidential administrations. Look how long have we been talking about immigration, people? How long have we been talking about housing issues, the economy? How long have we been talking about trade, NAFTA, CAFTA? How long have we been talking about these issues? I watched the election of 2000. I was 14 years old, and what I saw was a tragedy. I saw people's vote not get counted because of the hanging chads. All I'm doing is reminding you, the people out there who may be watching or listening, of what you already know. I wasn't eligible to vote in the year 2000. That hurt me really bad. I was 14 years old. I really wanted to vote. Had to wait 4 more years. But I watched that election, and I remember when Al Gore, when they called it for Florida, it was like 3:30 in the morning. So I took like a 2.5 hour nap, woke up, and then they're talking about, oh, well, Bush got Florida. I said, hold up. How did that happen? And then all that stuff with the recount. I got it. People are going to say, hey, go vote and all that. I understand. But this is where I question everything. Well, okay, I've been voting since 2004. Okay, what good has it done, people? Is this an election coming up, or is it a selection that is coming up, and me just going to the ballot box is just sort of like a check in the block? It's just a formality. Well, we do this because you don't have to agree with Back to the Basics. Think for yourself.
And my husband, Doug, and I are so grateful to become a part of your extended family. And ever since I received Joe's call, I've been thinking, yes, about the first Biden that I really came to know. And that, of course, is Joe's beloved son, one of his beloved sons, Bo.
Okay, I'm going to cut it right there. I'm going to cut it right there. Because I do believe I made pretty much just about all of my point. That you need to think for yourself. You really do. And that's what we need to do at this point. We need to think for ourselves, and we need to not get emotional. It has been done before. The rhetoric, the words that they use to pull, should I say, in an attempt to pull at our heartstrings. This was done many times through previous presidential administrations by pretty much by every previous presidential candidate. So that's my encouragement for you today. Just think for yourself. Think for yourself and question authority. I'm a millennial, so I'm that Y generation. So yes, I ask why all the time, and I know some people lose their patience. I go to the 5 W's. I ask who, what, when, where, why, how. And I'll even go even further to say, does this make sense? Is this relevant? Is this practical? Is this practical? Why are we doing this? Yes, I'm Generation Y. But thank you for listening to me. I'm your host, Back to the Basics. You can follow me on social media. You know, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Miss_Coily is my Instagram. I'm on Twitter at capital B2 Shalonda. So it's at capital B2S and then lowercase HALONDA. And then I'm on Facebook. This will be ported over to various platforms in addition to YouTube. But thank you for listening to me. And for those who are watching, hey, you guys got the visual. And for those who are listening, you all have the audio. I love you as a sister. All I'm encouraging you to do is examine, question, and think for yourself. This isn't about agreeing with me. This is about thinking for yourself. The Most High be with you to lead, guide, and direct your footsteps. One more thing that I will add, I will have to put this blurb on here, is that none of my statements are endorsed by the United States Army, Department of Defense, and or other military branch element or government entity. Once again, none of my statements are endorsed by the United States Army, Department of Defense, and or any other military branch element or government entity. And once again, I love you as a sister. I pray that you have a blessed day and that you practice self-care. I'm gone.